show?
Well, I'm trying to present Elsa Schalert.
Oh, I see. Okay, y'all give us some music, that's it.
From Hollywood, we present Elsa Schalert, noted previewer of motion pictures and interviewer of the stars. Tonight, she brings to the microphone as her guest the 6 famous Dead End Boys who created a sensation in the stage play and picture of that name. The boys were also starred with Humphrey Bogart in Warner Brothers' recent picture Crime School, which has been attracting wide attention. And at present, they're making The Little Tough Guy, starring Billy Hallop for Universal Studios. The boys are Leo Gorsey, Billy Hallop, Huntz Hall, Gabriel Dell, Bobby Jordan, and Bernard Punsley, and they're all assembled here in the studio and seem to be in very high spirits. But now, here is Elsa Schalert.
Thank you very much. Good evening, friends. Before I have the pleasure of introducing our very clever and dynamic young guest, I should like to say a word about the musical feature, Alexander's Ragtime Band. This is a glittering production, and a pretentious one, too. And it takes its inspiration from the famed and enduring song Alexander's Ragtime Band, written nearly 30 years ago by Irving Berlin. And the picture is a cavalcade of the many great song hits, which Mr. Berlin has written consistently through the years. It is literally a living monument to his achievements in the realm of popular music. The story tells, by means of the hit tunes, the different changes that have come in American life during the past quarter of a century, and it's very colorful and stirring. Tyrone Power and Alice Faye and Don Amici, that excellent trio of In Old Chicago, hold the center of the changing events in splendid fashion. And Ethel Merman, with her swing songs, is a dazzling highlight. Jack Haley, too, is very fine. The most moving sequence, and one that excels in showmanship, deals with America's entrance into the World War. It's based on the song, Oh, How I Hate to Get Up in the Morning, and it shows a group of actors and entertainers, headed by Tyrone Power, leaving the stage of a theater where they've just put on a show, walking down the aisle, and straight off to war before the audience fully realizes it. Henry King directed this dramatic picture for 20th Century Fox. And now, friends, our guests, the Dead End Boys. I think you can judge from the noise that's going on here that they're a very lively and energetic group. The boys have worked together for nearly 4 years. Their first professional association started in the New York stage play, Dead End. Leo Gorsey comes from a theatrical family. His father is a well-known character actor, and his brother David is under contract to Universal Studios. Billy Hallop was brought to Dead End by author Sidney Kingsley from a very successful radio career. And Huntz Hall came from the famed Professional Children's School. He's also had experience in the stage and radio. Gabriel Dell came from a medical family, and because of his background, was given a part in Dead End. Bobby Jordan also came from the Professional Children's School, and incidentally, the fact that he just couldn't get a haircut for nearly a month helped determine his being cast for Dead End. And Bernard Punsley, well, he claims that his ancestors came over on the good ship Cauliflower, but that didn't interfere with his getting a part in the play. Well, boys, it certainly looks like my job as hostess is going to be an easy one tonight because I see you've made yourselves right at home. I'm happy about it, too. In fact, it looks like you've taken over the studio.
Oh, yeah. They'll take home the whole works if you don't watch him, Mr. Schalert.
Oh, hello, Leo. I'm glad to see you.
Listen to Gorsey, gang. Did you hear what he said about us?
Well, I'm sure he meant no harm, Billy. By the way, where's Hunt?
Present, Your Honor.
Where do you think you are, in the courtroom? You recognize the language, don't you, Gaby?
Quiet, Punsley.
What was that?
Just angel-faced Bobby testing the piano.
Come on over here, Bobby, with the rest of us.
What do you think you are, a wrecking crew, Jordan?
Oh, I was just trying my piano technique. You better stick to shoveling coal. Plug for crime.
Poor Bobby.
Yeah, he was a cute baby.
Someone dropped him on his head.
Yeah.
Quiet. Boy, my short for the head of Hunt.
Yeah, now he's a headhunter. All the way from Washington Park in the Bronx. Yeah, and speaking of Washington Park, I bet they'll never name a park after us, Mr. Schalert.
Maybe a nice dark alley, huh?
Quiet, Huntsy.
Well, you know, I think a park might well be named after you boys because you're all so manly and courteous and such good actors.
We're superb, but really.
Hey, boy, get the Academy on the phone and order up 6 statues for us. I think you'd better make them gold.
Just send a bill to Mr. Schalert.
I'll be perfectly willing to take the responsibility after seeing you boys in both the stage play and the picture Dead End. Also in Crime School, which incidentally is a very fine picture. Has a big idea in it. And I thought all of you were wonderful.
We're the tops, the very tops.
Say, boy, take a letter. Order up one more statue. Make it platinum from Mrs. Schalert.
Oh, you're too kind to me.
Get that phone, Billy. Okay. Hello. Oh, hello, Brownie. Yes, Brownie. All right, Brownie.
That's Brownie.
Okay, I'll take care of it, Brownie. Goodbye.
Oh, that was Briny.
Good job, will you?
Quiet.
No, optimistic. That was Briny Foy. I guess you remember him. He was the producer of Crime School.
Sure, don't you remember him, Hunt? We tried to throw Mr. Foy in the swimming pool after the picture was finished, just to show our appreciation.
What do you mean, tried? He took it like a man. He's a great guy. What do you want, Billy?
Well, he just asked if we remember to mention that Mr. Styler, Lou Styler, directed Crime School, and that Humphrey Bogart...
Oh, sure. We'll give him a plug any day. He's swell.
Oh, you got
Yeah, look how nice he was about those hot seats we gave him.
What do you mean, hot seats? What does that mean?
Well, I'll tell you. You see, the actors use chairs made out of canvas to relax in between scenes. So while they're relaxing, one of the boys lights a match under the seat. And boom, just a sociable bunch of boys.
You know, I'm beginning to understand why your director got gray hair during the making of Crime School. But at that, I suppose making a picture with you boys must be lots of fun for everyone.
Only the brave can take it.
That I believe. Well, after working together for so long, boys, I mean the stage play of Dead End ran for nearly 2 years. Don't you feel lonesome when you're separated? Now, look, Leo works alone from the group in Mannequin, and same for Bobby in A Side Case of Murder.
Mrs. Shallot, we can scarcely stand the pain of it.
Getting each other over the head. Of course, you don't really have honest-to-goodness free-for-alls in some of those scenes that look so realistic, do you?
Well, that all depends on how much we make.
Oh, I see. Well, boys, when you first met in Dead End, did you all like each other at once?
Yes, but I never did find out who threw that bottle acting. That part was never meant for you, George.
All right. We were all buddies right from the start, Mrs. Schalert. You see, Hunts would entice the kids with his marvelous acting into the alleyway, and then wham, they'd get a bucket of water right on their head.
Yep, just one happy family. One for all and all for none. No leader, all rugged individualists, self-government, and all that sort of thing.
Bravo, down with us.
We formed a club once and elected officers. Leo Gorski was president, but we made him resign.
Oh, you did, eh?
You see, his artistic temperament sort of got the better
Leo.
of him.
So you had artistic
Gabriel was
temperament?
treasurer for a while. Came the revolution, followed the dawn, and Hunts was elected.
Let's
So
skip it. I never had any fun. I just sat around and voted for people. Oh, but it was a great club.
Oh, yeah, great.
Not even 65 cents was missing once.
What do you mean? He never even had 65 cents.
Oh, quit patting your paw, Davy. Well, anyway, last Christmas we went to the dressing rooms of the actors and sang Christmas carols for them. And when we finished, we asked, would you like to give something to our club?
Well, I imagine you got a good response, too, Bobby. What did you do with the money you raised, by the way?
We bought some grease, paint, and makeup for the gang, and some books. Nobody ever read them, but that's irrelevant. Then we gave some of the money to the Madison Square Boys Club.
As a matter of fact, Mrs. Shallot, we collected $28 for the club.
My.
Although the boys have big hearts, they have bigger appetites. And we ended up with $5 in the treasury.
Yeah. And then Bernard suggested we buy a present for our leading lady. But being public-minded citizens, we all went to the ball game instead.
Oh, I can see you are public-minded, all right, going to the ball game. Well, boys, how do you like Hollywood?
Oh, how do we like Hollywood?
It's terrific.
Oh, yeah, you know, it's really swell. Lots of nice people, plenty of places to go to, and all that sort of thing. But, well, I still like the stage.
You do?
And all their beautiful girls out here. Benita Granville, Gail Page.
How about Alice?
We're hearing secrets. You know, someone told me that you boys slipped coins to take Gail Page to lunch one day. Is that true? Who won?
Miss Page did. She took us to lunch.
Yeah, it was this way, Mrs. Shallot. We all had double-headed nickels, you know, honest bunch of boys.
Yeah.
And we couldn't lose. It was pretty hard for Miss Page to decide between us, me looking like Gable. And...
Oh, Billy, you're so tempting.
But definitely. Yeah, so she decided to take the whole bunch. We're all appetites good.
Oh, yes. Well, you all look like you have healthy appetites, and I think Miss Page made a happy decision by picking you. Well, boys, after seeing you in Dead End and Crime School and those stories that offered really a very dramatic and effective picture of the boy of the street, I'm wondering where you got your pattern for your different types.
Yeah, they're plenty tough, ain't they?
Oh, very.
You know, we don't deserve so much credit, Mrs. Shallot.
Really?
It belongs mainly to Mr. Sidney Kingsley, the author of Dead End, and Mr. Crane Wilbur, and a swell fellow by the name of Vincent Sherman, who wrote Crime School.
Oh, yeah.
You see, we just sort of put on the finishing touches.
Well, I'd say they were very fine finishing touches. You made those characters of the boys so realistic. You know, it was hard to believe that you were playing parts. It only proves what I said before, that you're a very good actor.
Wow, order up another statue for Mrs. Shallot. Make it out of diamonds. No phonies accepted.
Oh,
The truth of the matter is that all of us know that crowded tenement section hanging over the river in Dead End. But none of us ever really came from it.
We know the types and we studied them.
Yeah, we're all social conscious.
Well, anyway, those tough types are very satisfying for us to play right now because, you know, we're all still of the age known as the terrible teens. And it's sort of natural for us to want to show our importance by talking out of the side of our mouths, you know.
I noticed that.
Let us psychoanalyst with it, fellas.
I'm against it.
Say, Leo, what are your plans for the future?
I don't know. Trade my V8 for a racehorse.
Oh, no, Leo. I thought it was a flat wagon. I know you have higher ambitions than that. You can't fool me.
Well, to be perfectly honest, and I better trust on this one, I want to be a writer.
Wanna be? He is a writer. He's written songs, a radio skip, a couple of plays. Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, one of them was not so good, we hear.
Well, what about you, Gabriel? Are you going to remain an actor?
Thanks for the compliment. Well, I'm ambitious to be a writer also, Mrs. Schalert. And I'm thinking about taking a writing course at USC Night School.
That's fine.
Yeah, I am.
Fine, really.
Yeah, you know, I
He's
used...
learning to write dialect.
I thought so.
That's stealing my line.
You know, Gabe once wrote a dynamic farce on Hamlet.
What do you mean, farce? It's always a farce when it isn't played right.
We all have to be that is the question.
What's the answer?
That we should bash him over the bean.
He's so inquisitive.
Oh, boys, you certainly are a group. And, Billy, are you going to be a lawyer like your father?
Oh, no, Mrs. Schalert. I'm not going to be any lawyer. My mind's made up definitely to stick to acting and try to become a really fine actor.
I believe you will.
You see, acting is the thing I know most about. That is, I've been in it for about 11 years.
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, you've done a great deal of radio work, haven't you,
Yeah,
Bill?
for about 11 years, as I said before. I've done everything from stereos to Shakespeare.
Hamlet.
Mostly have.
I'm right. Say, Hans, how about you? I want to ask you this. I know you've had 5 or 6 years of radio experience, too. You going to remain in the business of acting?
No, Mrs. Schalert. I want to stay home and kitchen and cook.
Well, I'll tell you, Hans, if your cooking is as good as your acting, you certainly must be all right.
Thank you.
No, he's just shy, Mr. Schalert. He wants to be a producer, but he refuses to invest his own money.
Well, I like to be an actor. I think it's a great profession. I like to stay in pictures because I enjoy making them.
Well, you boys have just started your new picture for Universal, haven't you?
We finished our first day's work today. To be exact, and we have a very strong story. It's called Little Tough Guy.
Oh, yeah.
And our director is Mr. Harold Young, a real swell guy.
He won't be swell anymore when you get through with him.
Well, Bobby, you certainly keep things lively, don't you?
He's a low, but very, very low comedy relief.
I'll settle for 2 bits, thank you.
You know, I'm sure Bobby's going to stay in pictures.
Well, I hope to, Mrs. Schalert. First, because Benita Granville and I go to the same school as Warner Brothers. Quiet boys. And secondly, because I want to be a director. Oh, I just want to direct Leo 1.
In one of those horror pictures, it'll end them all, I suppose.
Report in the morning, without makeup. You won't need it.
That's true. And Bernard, what are you going to be when you grow up?
Mrs. Schalert, I don't think he better grow any plumper than
I'll ignore you.
Quiet.
Quiet.
Charlotte, answering your question.
You'll have to
I'd
feed
like
him
to be a
now.
bacteriologist.
Bug catcher, eh? You get a load of that gang, a bug catcher.
Yeah, maybe we all better go in hiding.
Speak for yourself, Billy.
So you really want to be a scientist, a bacteriologist, Bernard?
Yes, it's my serious ambition to spend the rest of my days in the jungles of Sumatra, reading detective stories until someone catches a good case of red fever.
He might even settle on purple, and again, I'll take blue.
Makes mine yellow.
Where'd you come from, Joe?
You go slow.
Well, before we go colorblind, boys, I think we'd better say good night, and I certainly regret to part company with you.
Good night, Mr. Joe.
Well, good night. Good night. Good luck, boys. The trolley is
Oh, boy. Our limousine, please.
Friends, I hope you've had as much fun as we've had here, and we'll be grin to you again next week. Our guest is going to be that new Goldwyn star, Miss Sigrid Guri.
Can I come up?
Who made her debut in The Adventures of Marco Polo. So until then, good night, friends.
We've presented Elsa Schalert from the NBC studios in Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Elsa Schalert reviews. From Hollywood, we present once again Elsa Schalert, noted interviewer of the celebrated personalities of screen and stage. Tonight, her guests are 5 gentlemen distinguished in their individual fields of creative expression. They are Mr. Max Reinhardt, Mr. Thornton Wilder, Mr. Richard Hageman, Mr. Basil Rathbone, and Mr. Don E. Gilman. And they will have an informal roundtable discussion on whether today is another golden age for the arts of drama, writing, music, motion pictures, and radio. And now, Mrs. Schalert.
Thank you. Good evening, friends. May I, at this outset, express the great pleasure and the high honor it is for me to be able to present our very distinguished guests this evening. and I'm most happy that you were fortunate enough to bring them together at one time. It scarcely is necessary to linger long over a discussion of the prominence of these gentlemen in cultural activities. Their place is known. Mr. Max Reinhardt is a world-famed creator in the theater and has recently established his school and workshop in Hollywood and will present a festival season of dramatic productions in the Hollywood Bowl in the summer. Mr. Thornton Wilder has a far-flung reputation as a novelist and dramatist. His play, Our Town, won the Pulitzer Prize for the finest drama on the New York stage the past season. And his new comedy drama, The Merchant of Yonkers, will be given a premiere presentation by Mr. Reinhardt during his festival season. Mr. Richard Hageman, eminent composer and conductor, noted for his opera Kapensaki, which he himself directed at the Metropolitan, only this week achieved new triumphs conducting the first performance of the opera Die Valkyrie in the Hollywood Bowl. Mr. Basil Rathbone is a celebrated stage and screen actor and has just completed the role of Louis XI in the film production If I Were King. And Mr. Downey Gilman, as Vice President of National Broadcasting Company, is a prominent figure in the world of radio. Now, gentlemen, we are here this evening to discuss the arts today in this mechanical age. The question of whether they are gaining ground or losing. The question of whether today is another golden age in which the arts may flourish, even as they did in other periods of history. But perhaps it might be well to establish first, what is art?
A rather large question, Mrs. Schalert.
Precisely, Mr. Rathbone. I've been searching for the answer all my life.
Well, surely you have found that answer, Mr. Wilder.
I'm afraid not, Mrs. Schalert. Possibly I've been the spectacle professor too long trying to reason it out.
Mr. Reinhardt, may we have your answer to the question?
As Mr. Wilder says, one can search forever for the answer to this question. It would appear that it is given to us in many different ways. It is my belief that anything that lifts us above the ground, that carries us out of ourselves, may be termed art.
Wonderful. And Mr. Hageman, what is your feeling on this subject?
Mrs. Schalert, this provocative question, which you have put so casually to us, would require more time than this broadcast would permit to answer. But for economy's sake, I would say that great art is the creation of masterpieces of such simplicity and purity of design as to be understandable to everyone.
Very fine. Well, so far we've had opinions from the producer, the writer, and the musician. And now I'm very anxious to hear from the actor. Mr. Rathbone, in your opinion, what is art?
Well, Mrs. Schalert, I've had a little time to think over what has been said in the past few moments, and I've jotted down something here on a piece of paper. This is it. Art is man's highest form of expression and belief in his relationship to a divine pattern. I agree with Mr. Reinhardt that the answer to what is art is manifested in many different ways and forms. For instance, it's my feeling that the San Francisco Bridge is an expression of art, just as truly as a Michelangelo painting. You behold it and are carried literally on wings to another sphere.
That's very fine also. And now, Mr. Gilman, may we have your answer to the question, what is art?
It seems to me, Mrs. Schalert, that there is very little I could add to what has already been said so excellently. Except possibly the thought that art is the objectified expression of our ideals. We may find ourselves inarticulate in expressing all that we may feel, but very often music or literature or painting speak for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's been most illuminating indeed to have heard these varied opinions from you. And now, gentlemen, here's another question that I should like to propound. It is, well, it's in fact the question which really inspired this meeting. Can this period today be as productive as other rich cultural periods of the past, such as the Elizabethan, the Renaissance, the Victorian? Mr. Wilder, do you feel from your standpoint as a writer-creator that this period is an advantageous one for you? I mean, do you have the freedom of expression which you would have had in another age?
I feel, as far as I'm concerned, that the material with which one works is as good as ever. May I say this, however, Mrs. Schalert? There have been 5 great ages in the history of the world. The Golden Age of Greece was one. But the structure of society then accorded one person in every 5 unlimited leisure for the study of the cultural arts. Hitherto, people have had time in which to train themselves towards the appreciation of masterpieces. Periods of national stress and turmoil do not permit leisure because the struggle for existence and survival demands full quota of energy and time. When one speaks about America in the light of a golden age, one must do so in terms of hope. days of an art the aristocracy are over. For the first time in the history of the world, art must address itself to the multitude. The unconscious dreams of some have been brought to reality through art and now shared by the millions. Walt Disney is a splendid example of such an achievement.
And Mr. Reinhardt, do you feel that this vast audience of millions, which Mr. Wilder has just referred to, is perhaps like a burning torch, signalizing a new era of artistic understanding and appreciation?
Yes, because today we are presenting art for the great masses, not for the limited few. And that is why I feel today is good for the creative artist. Today can't be the same as yesterday. That will never return. The time when kings and princes subsidized the arts and the artist is gone. But in those days, art was presented for the few. In Salzburg, we had the cream of the world. The wealthy Americans, English, Germans, Italians, and French, they all came with many riches to our theater, and they sat and watched. That was the old theater. Here in America, especially in this Western country, the sun rises on a new era, an era of art, which will benefit and be enjoyed by the masses, and in which they will in large numbers participate as artists and as apprentices to art. There is an enormous waiting audience in America on the highest degree of mass talent. One scarcely meets any American who hasn't some artistic talent. It is fabulous that one should meet it in such large numbers of people.
Oh, very much I agree with you, Mr. Reinhardt. During the years that I've been privileged to live in America, and especially in these more recent years spent in Hollywood, the high level of mass talent and artistic impulse in this country has been brought home to me very clearly. If I may be permitted to say so, the clearest insight that I have received into the standards of taste and appreciation of the majority has come through letters received from that unseen, devoted audience known as fans. Mr. Wilder spoke a moment ago, excuse me, Mr. Wilder spoke a moment ago about the unconscious dreams of some that have been brought to reality through art. I assure you, if some of the deep and beautiful thoughts expressed to me in some letters which I've been fortunate enough to receive could ever find a voice, there would be much added beauty to the stage, motion pictures, or radio. The majority of people, I'm deeply convinced, are interested in art as an expression, and the greater understanding between people brought about by motion pictures and the radio has created this audience you speak of. And cultivated a fertile soil for art. I believe people are not only ready, but willing to accept only the finest expressions of art.
It's all very interesting to hear, Mr. Rathbone. And it matches my own beliefs.
It was very interesting. Mr. Hageman, what do you think is the future of the musician of today? Are his opportunities as ample today as they were in the past?
Oh, there is a much larger field for the musician today, Mrs. Schalert. The orchestras are so much larger to begin with. And the interpreter, the conductor, has much more to work with than in the days of Mozart, Haydn, or Beethoven. But the composer of today is confronted by one great difficulty. He is constantly being accused of unoriginality and of writing music which resembles earlier composers. In the days of Beethoven, people listened to music and accepted it for its beauty. But today, if we poor composers write one bar which resembles Puccini, Wagner, or Strauss, we are immediately told that we are copying the great masters. Wagner used whole phrases of Weber, and nobody complained. And it is difficult for anyone but a real musicologist to tell certain passages of Mozart, Haydn, and Handel apart. But let the musician of today write something that has even the same rhythm as a passage from one of the old masters, and immediately criticism descends upon him like a deluge.
You've given us a very illuminating estimate of the situation as regards today and yesterday for the composer, Mr. Hageman.
By the way, Mr. Hageman, how do you like composing for pictures?
Very much, Mr. Gilman. Composing for the screen is a command. I have to write to order, which is quite different from composing when the inspiration moves me. Screen music has developed its own technique of writing, which is fairly complicated because of its exact timing. But frankly, I find it very stimulating. My hope is that eventually motion pictures will bring concerts to the screen, so that the millions of people may both see and hear great symphony orchestras and soloists. In your vast field of radio, The seeds for such musical understanding and appreciation have already been planted.
Yeah.
And I might say that those seeds have developed more luxuriantly than radio ever anticipated. In the brief 20 years of its existence, one of the great inspirations of the radio industry is what it has done for the music lovers. You can hear more operas and symphony concerts over the air in a year than the average devotee of former years could hear in a lifetime. I think you will agree, Mr. Hageman, that once opera was looked upon with a certain distrust by the majority of people. Today, grand opera has become a popular form of entertainment over the radio without in any way departing from its high level.
It has been a powerful influence in establishing and maintaining standards. That's a certainty.
Curiously enough, those standards were the ones which radio set for itself. They are not standards set by law or edict. Radio is its own censor, and consequently, its responsibilities are very well defined. It is distinctly different from all other mediums of art in that it enters the home. The listener doesn't come to it. Therefore, it should deport itself according to ordinary standards of good taste. You shouldn't think of the radio audience in terms of millions, but rather in terms of 2 or 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
It's the unit magnified. Radio speaks to a group in a home, and that individual group is multiplied by millions of times, but is essentially an intimate medium.
Yes.
Well, gentlemen, granted that this is a magnificent mechanical age through which knowledge, inspiration, and beauty are disseminated to the largest number of people through the screen and radio. Granted, too, that this spells the highest advancement for the many instead of the few. Still, is this a restricted age for the artist? To be specific, do the motion picture industry and radio, because of the commercial aspect, limit the full creative expressions of the artist? Mr. Wilder, may I ask, how do you as a writer feel about this?
When writing for either the screen or radio, one necessarily is restricted, Mrs. Schalert. But one must realize that when you assemble an audience of many millions, you are almost bound to strike at a certain level if you wish to be understood. It is my feeling that the goal which the greater part of all entertainment should seek to achieve is to supply a thing which is great art both to the trained mind and to the non-reflective. And that is a very daring thing to attempt. But again, Walt Disney can be pointed to, and Charles Chaplin as well, as satisfying most exacting minds and the receptive soul of the folk. I should like to think of writers going far away and writing a movie, and returning when it is completely finished, laying it on one of the great desks for acceptance or refusal. Such a writer should not return until it is in its completed form. For I feel that a story should be born, developed, and finished in one head.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the interference in the earlier stages that suppresses the creative imagination and prevents it from reaching completion. Under one condition, you create a thing. Under the other, you adjust it. When you adjust yourself while working to others, your work ceases to be creative. Adjustment can come later.
Mr. Wilder, do you consider this an inventive or a creative age?
Well, if you want to be pessimistic, Mr. Rathman, you might say perhaps that the last great book was written with the death of Tolstoy. The last great music was composed with the death of Brahms. The last great canvas was painted with the death of Cézanne. And for the time being, perhaps, we're in an interim in which the creative forces have turned to mathematics and physics. But the creative forces are still there, and when they return to the other arts, everything will be ready and waiting.
Including a vast, sympathetic, and hungry audience that waits anxiously to be entertained with fine and worthwhile things. That great audience that has sensed the meaning of beauty and so can never be completely satisfied. A hungry receptivity which is the inspiring challenge to all further creation.
That is it, Mr. Rathbone. We hear so much about this not being good and that not being good for the masses. I am of the opinion that the great masses have far better taste than they are given credit for.
1,000 times.
And in art, they want the good. They will not accept the bad.
Yes.
We have proof of that constantly. The public of today, I think, is very much like the public of ancient Greece, the golden age Mr. Wilder referred to earlier this evening. In ancient Greece, the great poets wrote for the masses. They didn't write for the few. Oedipus Rex is an example of the classic tragedy written directly for the people. And when we hear a great symphony conductor like Toscanini, we realize what a high status in artistic appreciation the mind of the public has reached.
Of course, Mr. Reinhardt, the brilliant popular radio success of Mr. Toscanini could never have been accomplished, in my opinion, 10 years ago. It has taken radio until now to prepare both itself and the vast radio audience for the great work of this famous conductor.
That again, Mr. Gilman, is another miracle of this marvelous age in which we live.
And while we're on the subject of radio, may I be permitted to say that radio today seems to me to be less restricted than the moving picture. It has been much more courageous. It has gone out and experimented in its medium, and when Shakespeare or Ibsen are presented, or when the poems of Browning or Shelley or Keats, of Byron, Rupert Brooke are given, the response of an audience has been deeply gratifying.
That is true, Mr. Rathbone. On the other hand, radio cannot give you the visual impression of a Robin Hood. That is, not yet.
Ah, yes, but what about television?
Well, we'd better not go into that. Television could well be the subject of another of these roundtables, I think.
At least it is another boundary to conquer.
Yes, practically every other field has been pioneered.
Mr. Hageman, what do you think the future of music will be? What form will it take?
It will be less complicated. Of that I'm sure, Mrs. Schalert. It will be as the music was in the early days, simple. And it will be listened to just for the joy of hearing. The very modern music is interesting, but generally it lacks personality. It all sounds more or less alike. An artistic revolution, I'm sure, will take place, because things can't go on as they have in the past years. Creation in music has been at a comparative standstill. Someone will come along who will start composing on entirely new lines, just as Wagner did, just as Debussy did. I feel that someone who will arrive on a new horizon will write very simple music again, like Bach, for example, which at least is simple to hear. And then we'll have a renaissance of music. Things will be done for the sake of beauty and not for affectation.
Mr. Hageman, could there be a Beethoven today? Would this routine of high-paced, busy living permit the artist to compose with the serenity and with the prolific intensity of the past?
I don't see why not. It depends entirely on the man. You don't have to live with the crowd. After all, the strong man is the one who stands alone.
What an inspirational thought.
Yes, isn't it? Mr. Rathbone, from the actor's point of view, what would you say that the future holds for the stage?
I'd say, Mrs. Schalert, the future of the stage holds the richest promise. For the reason that the theater, and I think Mr. Reinhardt will probably agree with this, is witnessing a rebirth. It has new spirit and new determination. And I think its greatest promise is reflected in the success of the actor-manager. Examples are Helen Hayes, Catherine Cornell, the Luntz, Noel Coward, to name but a few of the outstanding ones in this country. The actor-manager loves his work. Therefore, his primary objective is to do something that is going to be his expression of belief in the divine pattern. He produces his own shows, not because he primarily wants to make money, but because he has something he wants to say, something within him that he feels impelled to say. The artist in our profession is the man, and always will be the man, who works for the cause of preserving and elevating the standards of his profession. And when he is that earnest about his work, there is invariably the audience waiting to hear him, not only in the cities and large towns, but in the country, where people live and understand the grace of spring, the loveliness of summer, the glory of an autumn, the magnificence of a winter. People who are close to nature and consequently have a deep sympathy for what is beautiful and what is inspirational.
Again, we agree, Mr. Rathbone. I see you too believe in the power and the absolute necessity of the close and magnetic association between audience and the actor.
Definitely, Mr. Reinhardt. Because for the full expression of the artist, through the medium of acting, there must be a live player and a live audience. In the moving picture, one part of that essential whole is dead, because it is the shadow of the substance. That does not mean that moving pictures cannot be an art. It only means that they have a far more difficult task to accomplish.
Mr. Wilder, may we have your reaction to the thought that out of this period of change and turmoil, there possibly will rise a person, a spirit, a voice that will carry a message fraught with new meaning?
It is to be hoped, Mrs. Schalert, that should this voice speak in this land, it'll be heard and understood. It is unfortunate but true that in the past, chief American authors, the ones we admire today, grew up unrecognized and at war with their surroundings. They were refused recognition, Hawthorne was regarded as the greatest novelist of his day. Today, we realize that recognition should have gone to the immortal creator of Moby Dick, to Herman Melville. Among the poets, Longfellow and Whittier were acclaimed. Now we know that acclaim should have gone not to Longfellow, but to that tormented soul, Edgar Allan Poe, not to Whittier, to that strange gypsy, Walt Whitman. The great essayist was not Emerson, but Thoreau. Emily Dickinson was a recluse and never received the tribute to which she was entitled. Mark Twain was regarded as the great humorist of his day, but he was unhappy and embittered as well, and the sharpest critic of his time and country. In other words, the keys of the city are always being handed to the person that the public can understand, rather than being tendered to the person who is at war with the American society. America's coming of age will arrive when the artist makes his peace with the American civilization and is listened to by it. America heretofore has repelled the artistic voice. The artistic voice has been driven into an antagonistic position. Our hope is that America will grow into maturity that the artist can move around without being at war with his surroundings.
Perhaps, Mr. Wilder, that millennium is close at hand.
We can only dare to hope so.
Mr. Gilman, is this tremendous medium of radio? In this medium, what do you think the accomplishments will be in the next 10 years as far as artistic expression is concerned?
That would be very difficult to say, Mrs. Schalert. Radio is still young, despite its great development and adult stature. I think of it as a medium of the arts, rather than an art itself. It is hard to say just yet what it is going to do or be, but I think the most important development will be in the writing for radio. Radio writer must be as accurate in his use of special technique as the dramatist is in writing for the theater. This, it seems to me, calls for a special finesse, a fine discrimination in his writing and in his technique. Using sound subtly gives point to action, or what dramatizes the words you hear into a living, vital scene. Sound to radio is like the fine lines of an etching, which may not be discernible except when observed under a microscope, but still gives artistic value.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you regard as radio's highest achievement to date from a cultural viewpoint?
My opinion that radio's highest achievement has been the bringing of the works of the world's finest artists into the richest and the humblest homes alike. It has made available to the large majority of people resources of music and literature which they never could have secured in any other way. It has made fine music and fine drama universally appreciated.
And may I say, Mr. Gilman, that no medium of the arts can hope to accomplish more than to unite people of all classes through the simple and moving language of music and poetry and drama.
I think we have felt that, Mr. Reinheart. That has always been one of our ideals, along with a special function which we have to become a broad medium for public service.
And now, Mr. Reinhardt, I should like to ask you a final question, and it's about the theater that you know so very well and love so much. As a producer and creator, do you feel that we're coming into a new period of stage presentation, a new period of writing for the theater?
I feel very sure of that, Mrs. Schalert. I think soon there will be an absolutely new form of theater. Something that has never been seen before, and this Western country is the place where it will first be heard. It is my hope that the theater, films, and music will all work together. With this new art, we will have an equality among all people, and I also feel in sympathy with your question to Mr. Wilder a few moments ago. I think a new poet-dramatist will come forth very soon, who will be a kind of redeemer, preaching through his art a sermon of love and understanding that will cure the ills of the world. The old days are gone. We are entering a new age, and it is an age in which beauty will rule, and in which the richest man of all will be the one who has the gift of happiness.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Reinhardt, for your inspiring closing words. And my deep thanks, gentlemen, to each one of you for the great pleasure of your wonderful visit this evening. Good night.
Good night, Mrs. Schalert. Thank you.
You have heard Elsa Schalert, interviewer of celebrated personalities of the stage and screen. Tonight, her guests have been Mr. Max Reinhardt, Mr. Thornton Wilder, Mr. Richard Hageman, Mr. Basil Rathbone, and Mr. Don E. Gilman. Their roundtable discussion dealt with whether today is another golden age for the arts of drama, writing, music, motion pictures, and radio. Frank Hodek and the NBC Orchestra have just played I'll Follow My Secret Heart from Conversation Piece by Noel Coward. Next week, Elsa Schalert will bring to our microphone another interesting personality from the entertainment world. This program has come to you from the NBC studios in Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Elsa Schalert Reviews. Again from Hollywood, we present Elsa Schalert, noted previewer of motion pictures and interviewer of the stars. Tonight, her guests are Miss Tallulah Bankhead and Mr. John Emery, celebrated names in the theater, both in this country and London. At present, Miss Bankhead and Mr. Emery are rehearsing for the presentation of their new play entitled I Am Different, which will be given a premiere performance in Los Angeles and taken to New York for the opening of the fall season. Now, here is Elsa Schalert, who will first tell you of the outstanding pictures of the week. Mrs. Schalert.
Thank you very much. Good evening, friends. The pictures that I should like to name for your consideration are The Texans, The Crowd Roars, and Mother Carey's Chickens. In dramatic content, there's a wide variance between the subject of The Texans, which is something of an heroic and episodic quality, and Mother Carey's Chickens, which is as sentimental and homespun as rose leaves in a Dresden jar. And in between these two quantities falls The Crowd Roars, a vigorous drama about prize fighters. Robert Taylor plays a boxing ring champ. In itself, this is singular. The Texans is outdoor drama done on a very big scale, and it features Randolph Scott and Joan Bennett, and it helped immeasurably along its dusty and path-finding trail by the performances of Miss May Robeson and Walter Brennan and Raymond Hatton, to mention but a few of the large cast. The story is laid in the period immediately following the Civil War, and it concerns the driving of a vast herd of cattle from the Mexican boundary to the Kansas border. The picture has movement and vigor, and it excels in camera values because of the sweep of its outdoor backgrounds of mountain and plain and river valley. Robert Taylor fits most effectively into the setting of the prize fight ring in The Crowd Roars, which is fast-moving melodrama. Considerable poetic justice, however, was taken in the unfoldment of the story, but If you're not too critical, this will soon be forgotten, especially when Mr. Taylor and Miss Marino Sullivan march to the altar. Frank Morgan plays Robert Taylor's father, and he's excellent in this sympathetic role. And a special assent of applause goes to Mr. Edward Arnold for his portrayal of a big-time gambler. Now, just a few words about Mother Carey's Chickens with Miss Fay Bainter in the title part. This picture is merely the simple story of a mother and her children trying to establish a home after the death of the husband and father. It is warm appeal, and it delights with the splendid acting of Miss Fay Bainter and Mr. Ralph Morgan, and literally a flock of clever young players. Ruby Keeler, Anne Shirley, James Ellison, Jackie Moran, Virginia Wilder, a new youngster named Donnie Donegan. Too bad we can't mention all of them. And all of the character actresses and actors who play such an important part in determining the worth and the conviction of this picture. And now, friends, I'm pleased indeed to be privileged to introduce our guests, Mr. Tallulah Bankhead and Mr. John Emery. The names of Miss Bankhead and Mr. Emery stand for very fine achievement in the theater, both in England and this country, and for distinction on the screen, too, during those brief periods that motion pictures were fortunate enough to present them. But the stage thus far has been preeminent in the professional careers of Miss Bankhead and Mr. Emery, and at the moment they are in rehearsal for a new play adapted by Zoe Akins entitled I Am Different. And if I may be permitted, I should like to add a personal word of appreciation in having Miss Bankhead and Mr. Emery in their first visit with us since their marriage a year ago. Their marriage, I should like to add, too, unites two distinguished families. Miss Bankhead is the daughter of the Honorable William B. Bankhead, Speaker of the House of Representatives, and Mr. Emery, as the son of Edward Emery and Georgia Waldron, is the sixth generation of actors in one of England's eminent theatrical families. Miss Bankhead and Mr. Emery, we're so happy to have you with us. And while my congratulations may be a trifle belated, please be assured that they carry the best wishes for you both.
Thank you, Mrs. Schalert. It's most kind of you. I should like to say, though, that I feel that I'm the very fortunate member of this family.
You see, Mrs. Schalert, that's one of the reasons I married him. He always says the right thing. But thank you for your good wishes, and we're delighted to be here with you this evening.
That's so nice of you, generous. And I must say, from all I've heard, your new play sounds most interesting.
Well,
and
we're
promising.
terribly excited over it. Zoe Akins, I think, has written an enchanting play. And we're giving it our whole thought and effort. And we can only hope that it will bring the pleasure to audiences and be the success that we honestly wish for.
Having a good play to begin with, and with such spirit and enthusiasm which you reflect, Miss Bankhead, one can almost become prophetic of the outcome.
Well, we feel we're very happy indeed in having such fine artists with us as Miss Fritz Chef, whom I've always adored. And then Glenn Anders, who's a divine actor, and also one of my oldest and dearest friends who's come out from New York to join us. And then perhaps, as you know, the sets for the play are being done by Mr. Kai Nielsen, which we feel is an assurance of a very definitely beautiful production. And last but not least, the all-important factor in any play, my favorite director, Tommy Mitchell.
Well, you have a very imposing group of artists there, I must say. And it's wonderful to know such great talent being assembled for one production. Mr. Emery, this is going to be something of a departure for you doing a modern play, isn't it?
Yes, it will be a departure, Mrs. Schalert. The period plays I've been doing for the past several seasons. And frankly, I relish the change.
Well, I rather can understand that, too. And, Miss Bankhead, I'd like to ask you this. You've had so much experience in London with British audiences. You must find them deeply loyal after the 8 years that you played with such brilliant success over there.
Well, I must say, Miss Schalert, the English public are extraordinarily loyal. I think anyone who's ever played in England becomes aware of the devotion that audiences have for one. And this goes on for years and years. I mean, they never seem to forget you, no matter how long you've been away. They always come to see you when you return. And no matter how bad the play might even be, they seem to have an almost protective attitude toward their old favorites.
Certainly, the American audience is loyal, too. The tradition of the theater may not be as old here, for one thing. And, well, for another, it's very difficult to bring the theater to the entire country because of its vast size.
True.
However, motion pictures can reach everyone, every little town and community. The unfailing devotion of the tremendous American audience to picture actors and actresses and personalities is surely strong proof of their loyalty.
I quite agree. And what we hope to do eventually, Mrs. Schalert, is to make a tour of the country with our new play, as you brought out a little while ago. If we could bring what we regard as good entertainment and good theater to most of the country, well, as Captain Cornell has done, as Helen Hayes has done, and the Lunch have done so brilliantly and successfully, we'd feel we were in a small way carrying on the tradition of the acting profession. And this has always meant that the actor and actresses practically lived in the trunk and moved from place to place, bringing a little of the world of make-believe to people in a world almost overburdened with reality.
That's true. Well, let's hope that this fine ambition of yours, Miss Bankhead, and Mr. Emery will be fulfilled. And speaking of traveling, as Miss Bankhead did a moment ago, Mr. Emery, I wanted to ask you whether you knew the South before you and Miss Bankhead were married.
Well, I'm afraid he really hasn't had much chance since we were married. Because he's been so busy, he really hasn't had time to go back for a visit.
Yeah, but I hope we will one of these days. Regretfully, we only spent one day in Alabama after our marriage, and that was at the speaker in Mrs. Bankhead's home in Jasper.
Oh,
That's a memory I shall never forget. When we arrived, we were greeted by many of the old family friends and neighbors from the surrounding countryside.
Oh, nice.
We hadn't told anyone of our plan except the speaker, but nonetheless, the news leaked out.
Well, it was entirely too good to keep. I can well appreciate that.
Shortly after we were married, the speaker took us out on the lawn and speeches were made.
I wish you'd stop calling Daddy the speaker, darling. You'll hurt his feelings. After all, he did ask you to call him Daddy, too.
Yes, of course. Well, it was all very delightful and heartwarming. The speaker, Mr. Bankhead, Daddy, made a speech. Mrs. Bankhead made a speech. Tallulah made a speech. I said, hello.
He's boasting, Mrs. Schalert. He was much too nervous on that occasion to even say hello.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll bow very low as I kiss your hand.
You see, he's a Southerner already.
Oh, and very charming, too. By the way, Miss Bankhead, how is your distinguished father?
Oh, Dad is very well, thank you, Mrs. Schalert. And he really is adorable, but he has very severe eyebrows, which frighten most people, including John. But they've never frightened me. I know he's the kindest man in the world. Oh, but I must tell you, I'm going to have the upper hand over him in the course of a few days, confidentially. Daddy has always had a secret ambition to be an actor, and he's going to have his chance to realize this, and he recites a poem on a radio broadcast in the near future. And I've been asked to introduce him. Naturally, I'm frightfully flattered, and I've assured him of my complete moral support. He was very sweet about it and said that he certainly would be needing it.
Oh, well, I will be looking forward indeed to listening in. Will your father be coming out for the opening of the play, by the way?
No, I'm afraid not. He expects to catch us, of course, in New York. And, of course, he's delighted that we have a new play, but he was very disappointed that we didn't go south to spend the summer with the family.
I can imagine.
Just as the New York play season closed, he wired me saying, now come on home, baby, and feed up. Well, I have hard enough times it is keeping my girlish figure. I don't know what would happen if I could go down there and live on fried chicken and cornbread and hot biscuits and all those wonderful dishes for an entire summer. But Daddy always thinks I'm skinny. Apparently, he discounts my weakness in not being able to resist Southern food. You probably know, Mrs. Schalert, that in the South, they always say, now take 2 biscuits, honey, and butter them while they're hot.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. Well, at least that beautiful food is something to contemplate.
Oh, but only from a distance.
Mr. Emery, I'd like to ask you something about your very distinguished family. All of your father's family are in England, I believe.
That's correct, Mrs. Schalert. However, I spent all my life here. I'm the first American of his family.
Well, I'm glad you remember to say that, John. Because I shall always remember John's mother saying that there was only one thing that she was really proud of, and that was to be an American. Of being an American. Oh, I wish John could tell you some anecdotes about his family, Mrs. Schalert. They really are fascinating. You know, the family goes back many, many generations in the theater. His grandfather was a very close friend of Charles Dickens and was the first actor-manager to produce the Dickens novels in drama form.
Interesting.
And then his great-grandfather, John, of whom he was named, was one of the most popular comedians of his day. John, do tell Mrs. Schalert the story of the grave digger sequence in Hamlet when the audience called him to sing.
Oh, by all means, let's hear that one.
Well, the story goes that my great-grandfather was a writer of popular ditties besides being a comedian. Apparently, he was one of the grave diggers in that scene in Hamlet where a tomb was being prepared. The story has it that at the moment my great-grandfather was discovered throwing shovels of earth upon the stage, the audience broke into applause and insisted that he sing. Obviously, their demands were met because we're told that he burst into song with one of his numbers entitled, Here, York, You're Wanted. So having satisfied the audience, he proceeded with his grave digging.
Oh, he's a gentleman of great versatility, to say the least.
No, but John's great-grandfather was even more versatile, Mrs. Schalert.
Really?
Well, in his day at the theater, there were no actresses. Consequently, the actors always played women's parts. Well, John's great-grandfather always played women's parts. One night he played Juliet of an evening, and would also take part in the orchestra by playing the violin in between the scenes. And as if that wasn't sufficient, he was a very fine painter on the side. As a matter of fact, he was a member of the Royal Academy.
Which, I might add, Mrs. Schalert, proved of great practical value to my great-great-grandfather. Because whenever the company lacked proper funds for paying their food and lodging in some small village, which was a regular event, great-great-grandfather stopped and painted a canvas to dismiss the debt.
Well, I'd say that the innkeeper certainly got the better of such bargains.
Definitely. I wish we could paint, John.
Yes, well, I'll dash off a portrait.
Miss Bankhead, this is a change of thought, but how do you feel about making pictures in the future? I know that from time to time overtures are made you.
Well, at this particular time when I'm concentrating so much and all my attention on the play, I really don't feel I should divert my attention. However, of course, I should like to make a picture sometime, providing all conditions, particularly pertaining to the story, were right. I feel most emphatically, though, that pictures help me tremendously on the stage.
Really, in what way?
Well, they taught me how to relax. That may sound strange to you, because relaxation is one of the fundamental principles of acting. But what I mean specifically is this. On the stage, you have to project more. You have to give out so much more of your voice and emotions to make yourself heard and felt. Consequently, when you come to pictures, you're very apt to overdo. And the camera, I think, demands restraint. When I returned to the theater from pictures, I was very grateful for the training that pictures had given me on this point anyway, of learning how to relax. It was an enormous help. It taught me how to spare myself and at the same time how to give out more. Haven't you found that illuminating?
Yes, I have. Of course, I've only made the one picture, Mrs. Schalert, The Road Back. And while that isn't sufficient to judge the advantages of films over the theater and vice versa, still, I found the experience a very pleasant and interesting one. For one thing, so much is constantly being done for you to make you happy. At least I found it so.
Tell me, would you like to remain in Hollywood permanently?
Do you mean give up the stage entirely?
I do.
No,
never. Although I realize that other actors have said the same thing and then changed their minds later. The ideal arrangement for the stage actor would be to combine pictures with theater. That isn't as easy to accomplish as it sounds.
No.
But I suppose when you get right down to cases with me, Mrs. Schalert, I'll have to admit I still think there's a strange and wonderful thrill about acting in the theater. Even when the boards are creaky and the footlights don't work and the dressing rooms are dreary, damp, ill-ventilated holes in the wall.
Oh, you're making me feel like an opening night, John. Stop it. Well, having heard that confession, Mrs. Schalert, you probably now know why I believe that if an actress is going to spend her life in the theater, she'd better marry an actor and get it over with. Someone who understands the theater life and is willing to put up with all its inconveniences and who isn't disillusioned by its unglamorous side. I have a marvelous secretary, companion, advisor, friend, and bully named Edie. She's been with me for 15 years.
Wonderful.
And she said to me when I was married to Donna, that's what she calls me. It means Thunder Lady in several different languages. To Donna, when a man marries an actress, he isn't taking on just a wife, he's marrying a tradition.
I'd say those were words wisely spoken. Incidentally, Mr. Emery, there's a fine inferential compliment there for you.
Well, may I live up to it,
You're
Mrs.
doing
Schalert?
very well, John.
Thanks.
Well, Miss Bankhead and Mr. Emery, I hate to say goodnight, but I want to thank you so much for the pleasure you've brought us. Wish you all the success in the world for your play and personal happiness.
Thank you very much.
Charlotte, we've loved you.
And good night, friends. I'll be with you again next week.
Elsa Schalert has been presented from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.